listening to The Daily Show.
The Daily Show?
The Daily Show.
The Daily Show.
On Men's Radio.
Men's Radio.
Men's Radio.
Men's Radio.
With Russ Kane.
That'll be me. Hey, gang, I've been to the dentist this morning. Look. Hey. Okay? Is that good? Yeah, went to the dentist first thing, to the dental hygienist. And the last one, I think, had been trained by Vince McMahon at World Wrestling Entertainment, WWE. I think he once had the Intercontinental belt. I've never known anybody so heavy-handed in my life. I have bruises on my shoulders, and he's a dental hygienist. What the hell? Anyway, I've switched, and I got to say, marvelous. Hello, Robert Van Buren. Hello to you, dear. Now, as ever, there is a lag. We're just going to have to live with it. There's absolutely nothing I can do. The other thing is, not only my teeth, look, I'm quite pleased with that. And the hygienist was pleased. So, yay. Hooray for us. The other thing is, we are Dave Sleet up in Fife in Scotland. Hello. Let's say hello to you. Hi, Dave. And the other thing you may have noticed is my hair's gone raving mad. I don't know what the hell's going on. Yesterday, I looked like I had just joined NSYNC or Backstreet Boys. I don't know what the hell's going on. And my two pals saying you look like just joined a boy band. It was completely ridiculous. Anyway, it looks ludicrous. Nothing I can do about it. Got a special co-host today. Now, she is a bit of a dark horse. But all the way from God knows where, and she explained it, and I'm still none the wiser because my geography is crap. Please welcome a lady who communicates with me a lot, but I'm not convinced we've ever met. Janet Gershlick, ladies and gentlemen. Da, da, da.
Russ, how can you say we have never met? I was in your flying eye.
Oh, God, here we go.
Kappa Radio about 25 years ago.
Oh, dear God, here we go. Yes, of course. You do understand my brain is addled, don't you, Janet? You do know that.
Well, I do know that,
gone?
but you've convinced me. Why? What's happened to your brain?
I'll tell you why it's gone. And Karen, I can see you. We'll be with you in a moment. Help yourself to the digital coffee and the digital mini Danish in our digital studio, Karen Mooney. Just help yourself. I've spoken to Julia Champion. She's apparently there's flowers coming to the digital studio as well, the waiting room, the green room. Just knock yourself out. It'll be marvelous. I'll tell you why. This is an interesting thing. Yes, sweetheart. What? Go on.
I just want to tell you went to the dentist. I've just come back from Cyprus and I lost a tooth. So maybe, I need to see more of your teeth because I've got one missing, but I'm glad I didn't tell anybody.
Janet, you're a very nice woman, Janet, but you're not having my teeth because that's one of the few things.
Are they yours?
Bloody cheek. Yes, thank you very much. They're all mine. Bloody hell, this was a mistake inviting you on. Right. I'll tell you why I think my memory.
Go.
Listen, I'll tell you why I think my memory is rubbish, right? And it's this. Years ago, they put me on statins to reduce whatever the hell who the hell knows. I didn't bother to ask anymore. So just give me more drugs. And they put me on statins, and my memory started to go to hell. And a very, very dear friend of mine said, "What the hell's happening to you? Your memory is ridiculous." I said, "I don't know, but." And then you get the instructions, which no one ever reads, right? You get the packet of pills. Karen's nodding along. I know she knows this. You get the packet of pills. You look at the instructions, and they're on like page 82 in tiny Helvetica 3-point or something. It says, may affect your memory. Holy God, is it affecting my memory? It really has. Statins. It's a side effect.
Russ, two things.
Yes.
Statins are there to reduce your cholesterol, just in case you didn't know that.
I didn't know that.
2, I've just forgotten what you ever said. No, only joking. 3, your haircut is not too bad because when you first go to a hairdresser's, right, they make it into a cut that is absurd, and you have to go home and wash it and style it, and then hopefully it grows back to where you want it to go.
Yeah, well, this is all.
It's not happened, does it?
Anyway, we got a special guest, Janet Gershlick. And then we're going to come on to you after our guest has departed, when her sedan chair arrives and wafts her away to PR heaven. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome. And Karen, I'm telling you now, we have terrible lags on this show. I don't mean people. I mean one of those moods. Technical lags. Right. Karen Mooney, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, Karen.
Hello.
How
nice
are
to meet you.
It's very nice to meet you. Tell us, first of all, welcome to Men's Radio Station, where 50% of the audience are women. And secondly, welcome to The Daily Show. My pleasure. So, Karen, tell us all about yourself.
Well, all about myself. Okay, well, I started Terry 36 years ago. I was in my 20s at the time. And there was nothing like it. We were trailblazers at the time. And haven't looked back since. We've had thousands of weddings, thousands of success stories, lots of babies. Our first baby got married that we know of last June, and she's 32 now. So, yeah, the rest is history.
Well, now people are wondering, are you a midwife? Are you a doctor? Are you a fertility specialist? But no, you are, in fact,
a matchmaker.
There you go.
What are you,
That's what I was
Karen?
waiting for.
Yes.
Oh,
a matchmaker.
That's what I was waiting for.
Karen.
A dating expert and a matchmaker, making thousands of people happy.
Me and
hang on, Janet.
You're like-minded people.
Right, Janet, this is the rule that we have to abide on The Daily Show because the connection is so crap, right? You have to leave a gap.
Don't interrupt.
Stagecoach through. So, Karen, you are a matchmaker. And everybody is now singing the song, obviously. All
matchmaker.
Make me a match for me. How did you start? It's a bizarre thing. You've been on before, but I find it fascinating.
Sorry, I didn't get the question.
Go on, Janet.
So the question is, what made you a matchmaker, and how have you become so successful at it?
I think I broke my shoulder on 26th of January 1988, and my friends were coming to see me, and I suddenly thought to myself, they're all single, none of them could meet people, and it was, you work, you'd have a long day working, you go to a wine bar, the last thing you want to be chatted up by some oink or whatever, and so I thought there must be a business in introducing single, like-minded people to each other. It cuts everything out. You don't. It's a bit like being an estate agent. You don't walk along the street knocking on doors hoping that one is for sale. You go to an estate agent, and that's when people came to Sarah Eden. And I think if I hadn't have been in my 20s at the time, it probably wouldn't have worked. But I was dedicated to it. Loved it, and and people. Our couple still stay in contact, which is brilliant. I was taken out for his 25th wedding anniversary a couple of months ago. So it's a lovely business. You obviously can't help everybody. There are some people with unrealistic expectations. You just can't help there. But if we think we can help somebody, we give it a go. And the level I look after, I've got a 95% success rate.
Karen, do they come 95%
success rate
on the level I look after, but I only have a few people. Sorry, do they come to us? Yes. We've got an office in Windsor where I am today, and luckily the changing of the guard isn't happening. Otherwise, right now it would be very loud. And we've got another office in Westminster.
Wow, get you. All right, here's my question.
Karen,
she's off.
Do they come? All right, here's his question.
Go on, Janet. Come on, knock yourself out.
Come on, Janet.
Just a question. Right at the beginning, do they give you a list of what they want from a person, and do you recommend that?
No, we don't, because finding love is an exact science. It's not like buying a pair of shoes or anything like that. It's we have to. People obviously want similar things. in life, similar values, similar goals for the future, and similar lifestyles and financial stability, that you both need to bring something to the table. But if people come with a wish list, we try and get them to get rid of that because it won't work. You're right, Russ. You're doing that.
I'm saying financial stability. You had my attention suddenly. I was, that's what I want. This is what we're looking for here. What I'm looking for. The rest of it, 5'10", leggy, and wealthy would be great. So, here's the thing: have they been married before, or or are they divorced, or they're widowed, or what's the sort of average age of the person, Karen Mooney, that comes to you?
Late 40s plus, to be honest. And our eldest member at the moment is 91.
Optimistic.
A lot of them are widowed, and it's nice if you're widowed, you meet somebody who's also been widowed, because you can both understand that you've lost a partner. And I think particularly since the pandemic as well, people are really thinking about the future, and they're thinking about the rest of their life, and they don't want to be alone. They want to be with somebody, to share the rest of their life with, have fun with.
Some of us really want to be alone, Karen. Some of us would just like some me time. That would be so great. Listen,
can I interrupt?
Here's a story.
Russ,
hang on a minute, Gershlick. This is coming in. It's slightly sarcastic, but it's a very, very good point from Graham Pack, who says, with so many dating apps, is there still a place for you? Clearly there is, but how does the dating app thing affect you?
It's been good for us, actually, because it's a lot of people have been on the dating apps and then come to Sarah Eden, because it's the personal touch. We meet everybody. We ask for 3 forms of ID, so we know they are who they say they are. We ask them to sign a confidentiality contract, because we do have lots of high-profile people, celebrities and things on our books. And they're meeting people who've been met. We've looked into the whites of their eyes. We know what they want. It's a fairly in-depth interview, and it's a chat too, to find out a bit about them, what they've been through in life. So then once they've signed a confidentiality contract, we can make a selection of profiles of people we think they get on with, and it works.
And
so yes, there is a place. And particularly a lot of, as we get older in life, we want to meet somebody. We change as well, but it's not just visual. On dating apps, it's visual. You swipe left or right or whatever. There's more to it than that. You want to meet somebody you can go old and grey with.
Oh, so many years ahead of me. I'm just not worried about this. It's Elizabeth Green in Manhattan is saying, oh, good. If you can fix up Elizabeth Green, you'd be a genius, Karen Mooney. Elizabeth Green says, oh, good. I still have a future. Well, Elizabeth, of course you do, you silly sausage. Of course you got a blooming future. What's the matter with you?
Exactly. And she looks lovely. I can see her photograph on Facebook.
Well, that is Elizabeth Green. I've met her
that's
once
my
or twice for a cup of coffee, and she's a bit of a dynamo. I'll put it that way. A bit of a dynamo. Go on, Janet.
Karen, so it's interesting what you say about people not wanting to be alone. And it's almost like people say, that's the wrong thing to say. You shouldn't be lonely. You should be able to, especially with a female, you have to live without a man and all that stuff and nonsense. But what I realised in my time of being single, which unfortunately is a long time, is it's only people in successful couples that say how wonderful it would be to be on your own. And you say to them, you have no idea what I'm talking about, because you've never been on your own for a long time. And there is a big difference, isn't there, between people who are on their own a long time, like myself, and possibly Kane. Russ, I'd like to involve him in this.
Don't drag me into this. You're on your own, Janet, here. So, don't drag me into this. Go on.
I think it's a case of grass is always greener on the other side, isn't it? If you're in a relationship, sometimes it's quite nice to not be with that person for a little while, so you can have your own personal space and spend time with friends as well. But basically, all of us, we weren't brought up to be alone. We were brought up to be pairs, have a mate, basically. And the older we get, it might not be such a sexual thing. It might just be more of a companionship, somebody to have a good time with. Why'd you pull that face, Russ? You look very weird.
Nothing. Nothing at all. You weren't supposed to see that.
Sorry.
Karen,
No.
I've got a question.
Sorry.
And this station, as you know, the station is all about mental health and well-being. And I think that finding somebody and being in a happy relationship it really helps your mental health. No two ways about it. But there is a big difference, and I've talked about this a lot in past daily shows, between being alone and being lonely. The world of it's not the same thing. I am very happy to go to a restaurant with my earpods and listening to a book, right? Or listening to a podcast or something, especially Walk the Talk with myself and Mark Collin. And I'm not lonely. I happen to be alone, and people might think, oh, he's lonely. He's sitting at a table on his own. No, I'm not lonely at all. I'm just alone. I'm perfectly content. And I think a lot of people find that difficult to wrap their heads around.
Sometimes it's quite nice to be alone.
But you also have to...
It's quite nice to be alone if you've had a really busy day, or you've been speaking with lots of people, whatever. We all need some quiet time, don't we? Some downtime. But loneliness, being lonely, is completely different, and that's when it can affect your mental health. Sadly,
very much so.
And a lot of people,
Karen, I agree,
suffered from that during the pandemic, particularly the older clients or older people who were living alone. We used to teach them to meet people on Zoom or on WhatsApp, so they could meet other clients and they could show them their house, or take them on their daily walk or whatever, and that really helped with loneliness.
Interesting.
Karen, can I just interrupt, as I seem to be doing? Yes. When you said about it not necessarily being a sexual relationship, right? Just a companionship, and sometimes that feels slightly weird and the wrong way around, because it's like you're dismissing the sort of active sexuality of somebody just to have someone in your home that you can go for dinner with, or sit in a restaurant with earpods. So there's a whole mix out there, isn't there, of people that, and I don't think they know what they want until they meet the right person. And when they've met the right person, that list blends together with that person, they can have opportunities to explore much more of their life than they would do on their own.
Absolutely. I mean, it's up to them whether they want to have a sexual relationship or not. Most do, of course they do. But some of the older ones, maybe not.
Yeah. Now, Simon Wise. This has amused me. My wife enjoys her own company a lot more recently.
What have you been doing,
Simon? I bet when she stops. I bet when Jane stops talking, you think you've gone deaf. Jeez. Lots of love to you both, by the way. Now, what is this? This is very interesting. And Martin Allen, this is serious, so we're not going to be jokey about this. Martin Allen, who's been incredibly open with us on past shows, and that's the kind of atmosphere we want to, create. And Martin says, I'm reading this out, by the way, in case you think I don't think you can read. It's because some people just listen to the show; they don't actually watch the show as well. So, I've been surrounded by hundreds of people and never felt so lonely. Then I used to close the door, just me, and I have all I needed. Martin, you are singing to the choir, my friend. Amazing. I've been in very, very crowded places, and I'm thinking, I have got to get the hell out of here because I'm feeling horrible. And I get home, and it was fine. I really get that. You can be and it's important I'm not taking away from you, Karen, and your business, but it is very important to know that it's not abnormal to feel very lonely in a crowd and not lonely when you're on your own. It's absolutely fine. There's nothing wrong with you at all. Nothing wrong with you at all. So, Karen, I'm curious, when you first meet prospective clients, have you ever thought, this is a wrong one? There's something hinky about this man or this woman? Do you get that feel? You must have, with all your years of experience, that intuition.
Yes, absolutely.
And what do you
So
say to them?
I didn't hear what you said then. Did you say to me, you must get a feeling and there's something
Yeah,
weird
I
about
mean,
this person?
what I'm saying is, look, you're very, very experienced. Sarah Eden is a very experienced company. It's been established a long time. You're highly successful. You must have built up an enormous intuition for what is good and what is bad in somebody.
I didn't hear exactly everything you said, but I think you said, do you get gut feelings about people? Do you instantly think that somebody's
Yes.
not
Yes.
a good person or not? Yeah,
Yeah,
of course
that's
you
what I'm
do.
saying.
Yes,
Yep.
absolutely. You get, and every time I've gone against my gut feeling, and my staff too, it's been the wrong thing. Initial contact with somebody can tell you an awful lot about them.
Totally.
We do turn people away if we just don't think that person's in a good place. If that person there's a reason that person hasn't met somebody, absolutely. And I'm not going to risk my business and my staff won't risk Sarah Eden by taking on somebody they don't think is right. So I believe
Karen,
the London branch has turned away. Sorry?
Karen, how do you do? I apologize for the lag. It's just tech. How do you do that in a delicate way? Because you can't just go, I think you suck, get out. I mean, you've got to let them down gently. So how do you do that? I mean, what kind of words do you use and phrases?
It depends on the reason. It really does. It depends on the reason. We try and put it nicely. We just say, perhaps we just haven't got the right sort of people on the books for you at the moment. You can turn things round if they've got it. It's difficult to actually explain properly, but it does depend on the reason you're turning that person away. I mean, for instance, in London last week, they had a lady in who'd just been, her husband died in September. It's too soon.
Whoa, no.
September,
Way
and
too
it's now
soon.
November. It's too soon.
Way too soon. Do you know, you've preempted, Karen Mooney, you've preempted my next question, because there must be instances where somebody's lost someone and they think, all right, better get back on the horse. That is way too soon. Holy moly. Is she kidding?
Exactly. You have to get over the firsts initially.
Do you know what?
You really do. We've got people, we've got several ladies on the books at the moment who got married through us in the 90s and their partners passed away, sadly. And they've come back. And one of them, on his deathbed, he said, please go back to Sarah Eden. I want you to be happy. And she did.
Blimey, that's good.
Yeah, lovely. But you have to give it time to get over it, to feel that you're ready to meet someone.
You do. Of course you do.
When people come to me and talk about grief, because I talk about grief such a lot, when people come to me and talk about grief, and I say to them, don't move, because they want to move house, they want to, just go away. I said, don't make those sort of decisions for quite a few months. You've got to, unfortunately, you've got to stay at home. And don't listen to anybody, anything's got to say. Everybody has their own opinion. And you have to really feel that you're doing the right thing by the person that you've lost, unfortunately. Exactly. So don't make those big decisions. Don't make decisions about money. Don't make decisions about your house. And maybe not even make decisions about a different relationship. Although people need hope. They need hope. So you could possibly say to them, in a couple of months, you'll feel totally different. And but your grief will still be there, of course, but then is the time to make decisions about all those really important things in life, especially when you lose somebody.
Exactly. You have to, people do strange things when they lose a loved one, and they have to come to terms with it. As I said, get over the firsts. That's really important. The first anniversary of the death, the first birthday of that partner, the birth date of that person. It's very important.
And the other thing is, having lost my wife myself, is that you're in a complete tailspin. You don't know which way is up, even though you you're expecting it. It wasn't unexpected, not unless you got hit by a Sputnik or something. Cutting edge reference there, Russie. But, you know, to try and make decisions when you're not thinking straight is a terrible mistake. And I'm stunned that client lost her husband in September, rocks up in November, says, hey, I'm ready. No, you're not ready for about another year.
She wasn't a client. She wanted to join, but we couldn't take her on because, you know, 2 months is silly.
No, prospective client then. My learned friend will strike the record. The jury will disregard that last remark. Yeah, go on. Go on, Janet.
But also, maybe what they're saying to themselves is, life has changed so irreparably; it cannot be ever the same as it was. And Russ, I have the same grief as you have had, and many people have gone through in their lives. But maybe what they're wanting is there's a hope that their life may be able to continue, and maybe it's just trying to prove to themselves that there is one day, maybe, possibly, a life without this person, although we will grieve for that person for as long as it's needed.
Exactly. Sometimes I think we're counsellors as well as matchmakers.
I was going to say.
We turned this lady away in a very nice way. We said, you know, we'd love to have you in the future, but at the moment it's not fair on you and it wouldn't be fair on our clients, because you need to grieve. You can't just replace somebody. It doesn't work that way.
No, it's not like you. I'm going to say this, and this is really, you've touched on it, Karen, because you are a kind of counselor as well, because you've got to be simpatico. Otherwise, the whole thing's going to fall apart like a lumpy custard. But it's not like, oh, I've lost my favorite sweater, so I'll pop into M&S or Tesco or Lidl or wherever, Aquascutum, and replace that sweater. It doesn't work like that. You know, the big mistake, and I'm asking rather than saying, the big mistake is that people think, well, I need exactly the same. You're never going to have exactly the same. It's quite impossible. That whoever you lost was unique. And I think it's a terrible error that people, I'm going to replace that. You can't. That's a one-way trip to nowhere.
Exactly.
So
you can't replace somebody who's lost.
No, you can't. And it's a fool's errand. And we're going to come on to grief in a minute after we let you go, Karen, because I know how busy you are. But the thing is, you've got to go through all those stages. There's no point. I mean, we talk about grief so much because I look at the demographic of our audience all over the world, and they're presumably 40 plus, maybe 45 plus, just the way it rocks, 50% of women. And it's so grief is something we're all going to have to deal with, whether it's sooner or later. But the more we understand it, and the more therapists and counselors we have on, and people like Asa Don Brown in New York State, who's a senior in the psychotherapeutic community over there, you've got to go through all those stages. And that's not BS. That's not just something that people churn out. Those are genuine stages. And it'll take as long as it takes.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's
Russ,
interesting. Look, yeah.
Sorry, can I just plug something?
Go on, Karen. Well, otherwise Julia Champion would be so upset. So go on.
She will. Yes. Basically,
I'll get a bloody phone call. Hello, how are you? Yeah, I'm fine, Jules. What do you want? It'll be that. Right. So go on, plug away.
Okay, so I'm going to be doing something. I'm going to be answering all sorts of giving all sorts of dating advice. Nothing is off the record. Where to meet, when you should, what to talk about, all sorts of things. And if people have any questions or want any advice, if they can email hello@15minutes.online, I can answer anything, any questions they want.
Well, here's my first question. Is Eva Green or Claudia Winkleman on your books?
Are they both single?
I don't
they're
care.
not. But...
No, I know they're not, but you can't.
Yeah.
My whole thing in life is don't let little details get in the way of a bloody good time. So there's your challenge, Claudia Winkleman or the actress Eva Green. That'll do. That's... Or Stana Katic. If Stana Katic happens to, rock up at Sarah Eden and say, I'm looking for a really skint bloke with greyish hair, don't forget me. That's all I'm saying. I'm just putting it out there. It doesn't hurt.
And good teeth.
Now, Karen, what was that email? What was that address again? Give it to us nice and slow.
Hello at
writing it down.
15
Thanks,
minutes.
Janet.
Hello
with .online.
50 minutes
with .online. Blimey.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll put that up later if I can. Janet, remind me what you just said. Listen, well done, you. Hang on. Here's the thing. Here's the last one, and then we must let you go. This is from Martin Allen. If it'll eventually come up. Here we go. Janet, could you read this out?
Oh.
Yeah, sure. This is from Martin. We lost my mum in October 2022. She survived cancer 4 times over 20 years. Number 5 took her from us. Dad's 83 and now lost the will to live.
Ugh.
It's painful to watch someone you love in so much pain just wanting to die. He refuses help and he will not jump into his car and visit family. He is so lonely and so sad.
Oh, God. Martin, that's a heartbreaker. Ooh.
That's so sad.
Well, it's horrible, but it's not rare. It's awful, but some people just go, that's it. I don't want to be around anymore. I get it.
Give up.
Wow.
And at a certain age, people become very pragmatic. They become very black and white, pragmatic. And they simply, realize that they're not going to get any better or don't want to. They want to live with their grief and they can't do much else with their emotional life. And it's difficult for the family because you want that person to be happy and alive and with you. But sometimes it's just very, very difficult to get that person into the place where you want them to be. Is there a solution? We don't know. We can only hope that his father will be with his family rather than not be with his family.
Oh, that's so sad, Martin. It's a heartbreak for you to have to watch that. We're going to examine that. And Azadon Brown, we're going to end on this. Coming in from America, it says, come on, caption in your own time. Dear God, could this be any slower? Martin Allen, my sincerest thoughts are with you and your family. Please do not push your father, but do gently encourage him by being there for him. Right, if people want to get in touch with Sarah Eden, they just find you on the interweb, presumably. Karen, is that right?
Yeah.
Just look up Sarah
www.sara-eden.co.uk. Or there are fashion way on a phone 0207 499 9626. And it's Sarah without an H, SARA-EDEN.
A phone?
I know.
Do you know what, Karen? I gotta tell you something. All right. I've been doing this show. Howard Penny and I started Men's Radio.
Gone.
Oh, what? Go on. There's something else. Oh, where's she gone? Disappeared now.
I don't know where she's gone.
I've upset her now. You've upset her, Janet. That was you.
Yeah.
No, it's you.
Okay.
You've upset her. You've clearly
because
upset her.
Sarah's never liked to have
I was
either
getting
Sarah
on well
with
with
an
her.
H.
You've ruined everything.
Sarah with an H or Sarah without the H.
There's
they
no
get
H.
very stressed.
No, there's no
Hello?
H. No, there's no H. There's no H. It's SARA. Right. I don't know what you said. I don't know what you said. She and I were getting on famously, and you've upset our guest.
I kept interrupting you. That's the problem.
No, it's fine. I don't know where she's gone. Anyway, the signal, she's just disappeared. I liked her a lot. She's been on before. It's very, very interesting. Now, Janet Gershlick.
Yes.
We have, of course, met before. Give us our background. Go on.
Okay, so I was working on Capital Gold with the likes of Tony Blackburn and who else was there? Ken Everett. And you were on Capital Radio in the Flying Eye. And then that was a long yes. Oh, don't be absurd.
No way. I told you those statins have affected my memory.
No,
God,
it's the haircut.
It's the
haircut. it's the haircut that's worrying me more than your statins
Just
or
stop.
your teeth.
Thank you, Janet.
Anyway, so you had the flying eye,
Careful,
and I came
careful.
into the flying eye, and then I was with this man that I'd met and married, and that lasted just 10 weeks, but that's a whole nother story.
Whoa! No,
Nigel.
no.
Well,
No,
his name was Nigel.
Are you making plans for him?
No.
Hang on. Karen's back. Hang on. She's back. Can I get her back? I can't get her back. Hang on. Can I get her back? I want to just say goodbye. Otherwise, it's a bit rude.
I'm back.
Karen, what happened to
Where?
you? What did
you go?
Janet say to upset you? No, Janet did it. Janet upset you. I can only apologise.
I think she did.
So-
No, my battery went flat.
Oh, you're bashing.
Well, your phone ran out of battery.
No, my laptop.
No, you
I didn't
sound like
plug
my-
it in.
Oh, you are outrageous. That's outrageous. You sound like my
no,
sister whose phone goes off because she hasn't plugged it in.
I humbly apologise. I didn't want to make
All
an
right,
exit
she's
like that.
apologised.
All right. So, Karen, let's end
No.
this. Let's end this professionally. Give the website for Sarah Eden
Oh,
again.
I've got to write it down again.
Stop it. You don't have to write anything. We've got a very intelligent audience. They can remember. Off you go, Karen Mooney.
www.sara-eden.co.uk. So
Got it.
www.Sierra Alpha Romeo Alpha hyphen Echo Delta Echo November.co.uk.
Fabulous. Well, good luck and well done. Thank you. Thanks for
you.
being a
Thank
lovely
you for
guest.
having me
And
on,
we'll have you
Russ.
back.
Nice to
We'll
meet
have
you,
you back
Janet.
because we'll have you back because we think you're smashing. We like you lots.
Thank you. And I would like to meet somebody. Hello. I would like to publicly, I'd like to share with this audience that I've been totally unsuccessful all my life in having relationships. And so I would be one of your tough customers to come in or talk to you or be online with you. And you'd say, what a lovely person I am and why you've been on your own so long. All right?
Okay.
She might say that. She might say, I don't think we've got
Stop
anybody
it,
else.
Russ. Stop it.
She might say, I don't think we have anybody suitable on our books at the moment. See, I listened to everything you said, Karen Mooney.
Yeah, no.
Every word. I think you two should get in touch. Go on. That would be fantastic. What a success for the show it would be. Be a big hit. We could follow
and
it.
we'll report back to you.
This would be genius.
Yes.
Right.
You could
Janet,
find me
Janet
somebody,
Gershlick,
please.
you're getting in
Matchmaker,
touch with Karen
matchmaker,
Mooney at
make
Sarah
me a
Eden.
match.
I think that's great. That's for you.
Yes.
I think that's fantastic.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And this is coming in from America, so he's American, so obviously we know he's mad.
Oh, how lovely. Thank you.
Karen, you've been delightful. We love Asa Don Brown. He's a hell of a nice guy. He won't mind me saying he's mad, obviously, because he's American.
Lovely.
Anyway, there we
Nice.
they like
Sorry,
everything.
Sorry, can I
They like
say,
everything over there.
have I been delightful? Have I been?
No,
could you say
because
that
you
I've been
upset Karen. That's
delightful
why
as
she
well?
left. No. Asa Don Brown will not say you've been delightful. You upset our special guest. She
Please
disappeared
say.
because she was sobbing. She was sobbing and then she pretended the battery had failed.
Yeah, unplugged. She was unplugged.
I was unplugged.
Right.
She was unplugged.
Right, it's like Bob Dylan. All right, Karen Mooney, go and make people happy. Something I've never done.
I'll go
Go
do
and
some
make people.
matchmaking.
Go and do matchmaking. Oh, she has a song. Bye bye. See ya. Bye bye. Is she great?
Oh, I love her.
Like Karen Mooney.
Bye.
I like her a lot.
She's gone again. So she never
She's
says goodbye. Did she?
Well,
did
I'm
she
waving.
say goodbye?
Listen, anybody who knows me well, when they phone me, they go, "Why do you put the phone down?" I said, "I don't put the phone. I have to say what I say," and then I go, "Boom," and they go, "But you do it in mid-conversation." I learned that from my mum. I'll be in the middle of conversation with my mum, and she. All right, this is coming in not from America. Hooray! You are both divine. Says wife of TV star Michael Warner, the new Hollywood heartthrob.
Wow.
Anyway, Janet, you've just thrown down a heartthrob. Oh, dear. Francine, women will be mobbing him just to touch the corner of his raiment. Elizabeth Green in New York.
What? Yeah.
Raiment, you dirty sausage. Elizabeth Green is saying, yes, Janet, throw down the challenge. You've challenged Karen Mooney. I think she's going to find you someone great. That's what I think.
Good.
Like, Simon
About
Shaw
time.
or somebody genius. You need a genius. And
You a hoot.
well, you do. Janet, you're a hoot. You keep
you are
Russ
hoot.
on his toes. You've been delightful as well. Oh, all right, Asa. All right.
Is he from Texas?
No, he's not from Texas. I just do that voice every time he comes on, which is all the time. He's great. He actually lives in northeastern America,
London.
in New York State. Not to be confused with Elizabeth Green, who lives in New York City, but he lives in New York State.
Uptown.
I don't know where. I can't remember what town it is, because that would mean I have to remember something.
It's Uptown, New York.
What? What is?
Where he lives.
Elizabeth's in Manhattan. I don't know why this is the Elizabeth Green show again. Right. She lives in Manhattan.
Yeah.
I'm losing.
He
the will
lives
to live,
upstate, New York.
He lives upstate in New York, which is gigantic. It's miles.
Huge.
There's no buildings. It's just sheds and fields and cows wandering around, and sheds and barns and psychotherapists like Asa. Right. Now, you've written 2 books, Janet Gershlick.
I have, yes.
Tell us about the books. Come on.
Okay, so life, as we know, takes strange turns sometimes. So about 10 years ago, I lost my mum and my stepfather in 3 months of each other. And I wrote a book. I wrote something called When the Sky Falls In, because that's exactly how it felt. And I, as a director friend, I went to Lee Strasberg, a drama school in New York. And a guy called Ralph Bogart directed it, and we took it up to Edinburgh Fringe for a 50-minute stand-up piece.
Wow!
And it was amazing. I don't know. Have you ever been to Edinburgh, Russ?
I did the Edinburgh Fringe. Frighteningly,
recently?
4 years. Yeah. I took my show up there. Took my one-man show up there. Caned Laughter, and did my show up there. Loved it. But it was great fun.
Just to say that when I went up there, I took mine up there about 5-6 years ago, and either one person in the audience I had to go and hug, or they came on stage to give me a hug. But I have to say, I want to remind you, I went to a show, right, where the guy from New York, bizarrely enough, was opening up letters from his mum, and he was telling us that he hadn't opened those letters since she'd passed.
Oh my God.
And he opened the letters every night. I'm sorry, it was so stressful for us, for the audience.
God.
I was so
only
stressed.
An American could do. Only an American could do.
And I was working out: is there a trick? Is this a trick? Are they? No, but he opened the envelopes, and the second he did one for every night, and the second night it said, "You have been the most terrible." Sorry, I don't know why I'm laughing. You've been the most terrible son to me, and if it hadn't been for your brother, I would not have had a happy life. It was awful.
What an arse.
And
what
then
an absolute
he had to
arse.
He had to ask the audience, and I put my hand up like in school, and I said, I think what you should do is go back to the letter you read out last night, which was more positive, and then obviously balance the two together. It was so shocking. It was so terrible. He was very, very upset. Anyway, so
I don't understand. I don't understand why, and I'm not being rude to Asa and all our American audience, of which there are many. But Americans have this kind of terrible need to just, expose. Like, why do you do that? What's the matter with you? You don't have to have British stiff upper lip, but there's kind of limits, gang. There's limits. You don't want to overstep it, right?
But Russ, for a lot of people, and I'll go back to my books in a minute. For a lot of people, it's not cathartic, but it's almost a need to, maybe as a broadcaster or as a presenter or as someone who just wants to share life. There's always almost a need to turn yourself inside out and expose all these elements and details and emotions. And if you don't meet that need, well, I don't know, but you need to share it. That's all I can think, really. Because people say to me, go on, Sorry,
as a broadcaster, I've always been 100% honest. What you see is what you get. And that's it. I can't bear, and we've both been in the business a long time, when the microphone switches off or the camera switches off in the studio, and someone who's all delightful and charming shows up what they really are, and they're an absolute bastard of the first order. I mean, it's all a horrible, horrible act. Julie Birchall was writing for the Spectator and was talking to us about national treasures, some of whom are delightful, some of whom are some of the most revolting people you could ever imagine when the camera or the microphone isn't on. That is just vile, but they're regaled as well. National treasure. They're not. They're horrible people. Some of them are absolutely adorable. Not all of them, that's for sure. So I think the answer to your question, Janet, is I think you need to be honest. Because people are not stupid. They should see through it.
Yeah.
They should see through it.
Yeah. But often it is honesty. It's often, well, if you get it, if you understand it, if you've done it sometimes, then you'll recognize it in other people, what their needs are. So they need to be doing this. People say to me all the time, they might say to you, Russ, why are you telling everybody about this, that, and the other, the losses, the nightmare of life, the good things in life? Why? And I say, because I have a need to do it. I have to do it. And that's how it feels. So, yeah.
And it's that, Janet, but it's also, I think, something we increasingly need, which is you're not alone.
Yeah.
I think a lot of, we talk about depression a lot. We talk about suicide prevention a lot. We talk about the craziness which is going on in the Middle East. Well, we don't get political. I won't do politics on the show. You can get that 24 hours a day in 1,000 other channels, right? But the feeling, it's only me who's feeling this. But no, it's not. It's not. You're not alone, and that is life affirming. And it makes you feel less, I'm going to use the word crazy, because somebody thinks I'm going around the bend. It's just me. And then you talk to other people and go, no, I feel exactly the same. You go, well, okay, feel better about myself now.
Yeah. And that awful, you remember that awful thing was, it's good to talk. I don't know where it was from, an advert.
It was something. BT. It was Bob Hoskins.
And Bob eventually, Hoskins, maybe what we've realized is, we have a need to talk, we have a need to share, but not just that, we have a need to understand what we see in other people. We need to have empathy, we need to have respect, we need to see what they need from us. And I think that has evolved, and I'm so happy and grateful for that, because as you said, Russ, there's so many people out there who are experiencing such strange, unspeakable, difficult times that they wouldn't not. If they carry on their own, it's a very difficult thing to burden. And let me just say something. So, and I'm going to be really honest with you now, because lots of people say, I've written a couple of books. One was called When the Sky Falls In, which is just a book that's online. So you can see that at janettalks.com. And that's one I took up to Edinburgh Fringe. And then I wrote a book about Southwold, which is where I live at the moment. There's about 800 of us, but I'm everybody in this town. But
I thought if we were chatting, Janet, before the show, I thought you said Southall, and I'm thinking, what the bloody hell does she like? Have you ever been to Southall? I'm not being rude, but I won't boast about it. It's scary there.
I was on Talk Radio. Russ, and I was going through a bit of a nightmare. And there was this woman called Psychic Susie on the program. All right, she used to be on the breakfast show. Yeah. So after the show, I got out, and Psychic Susie. No, listen to me. Psychic Susie, right? She'd say, phone in if you've squeezed your toothpaste tube in a certain way, and I'll be able to tell you what day you're going to have. So all these people would phone in and say, well, I've squeezed my toothpaste from the middle. And you say, oh, my goodness me, that's a bit of a difficult one. It was hilarious. And but after the programme, I took out a map of the UK and I said, Psychic Susie, where should I go live? I'm going through a divorce to that man. You know that man? That man that I married for 10 weeks?
Nigel. So
Yeah,
I'm sorry,
Nigel.
we
He's
can't
all right.
pass.
He's
We're
happy
going to come
now.
back to like. Hang on, how long were you married to this winner
10
for?
weeks. 10
I
weeks.
don't want to be rude. I don't. Well, everyone's going.
Do
You're
you
going
think
to
it
be
was
Russell, aren't
me?
you? You're going. What? I'm not going to be rude here. But what the hell happened? 10 weeks.
What?
Jesus,
10
I've got
weeks.
I've got milk in the fridge older than that.
Well,
What happened?
I used to say that the receipt for the wedding gifts, which I never got to see, were longer than that. I never got to see any of the wedding gifts. I think the issue was I lived in New York, he was in Washington DC. We'd never lived together. And when we found that we were married, so he asked me to marry him. I said yes, but I didn't really want to be married to him, to be honest. And then he
Possibly
realised that I
saying
didn't
yes
want that.
wasn't the best thing then.
What?
Going out on a limb. I'm going out on a limb here, Janet. Probably when
Saying
he said,
what?
"Do you want to get married?" and you didn't want to marry him, and you said yes. That could have been an error. Could be wrong. I don't want to be prescriptive about it, but geez.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
I saved a lot of money. Anyway, so he tried to get rid of me and divorce me, and it took him about 2.5 years. And I wanted to have a banner made for my car, sticker saying married in Manhattan, divorced in Dartford, because we got divorced in Dartford court. And
in Dartford.
In Dartford,
They said romance was dead.
Yeah, and then I got divorced in Dartford. Yeah, so there you go. Anyway, so let me just be a little, do me a favour.
Did you take all the fondue sets back to John Lewis?
I never saw one wedding present.
So he upped all the wedding gifts.
He had
on top of
all
everything
the wedding
else.
gifts, all the money.
It was a con.
Everything, it was a scam. I was scammed, to be honest.
You were scammed. You needed those fondue sets.
Why would someone not want to be married to me?
I can't imagine,
really?
Janet. It eludes me. The answer eludes me. I just don't know.
10 weeks.
People are going, Nigel. He must be punching the walls with regret.
Yeah, absolutely, and he deserves that regret because you know what? I was a very, very good marriage partner.
You were fabulous for 10 weeks. The 11th week, not so hot, but 10 weeks you managed marvelously.
I remember my mum turning up early. This is a typical Jewish situation, and she went on honeymoon with us down to Florida.
Oh, Jesus Christ! I'm feeling. Hang on, stop right there. Right. So this marriage lasted 10 weeks with Nigel. Your mother came on the honeymoon. Are we seeing any causality here? You're seeing a cause and effect.
Yeah, I blame my mum then. I blame everybody but myself.
Don't blame yourself. That's
No.
Excellent. Don't. What did your mother come on honeymoon for?
Well, she liked him. She liked him. She liked
Why
me.
did she marry him? Save yourself a lot of aggravation.
She used to send him parcels in the post, and he was in the Falklands.
You need me in your life, Janet. You need me as a life coach. I've decided everyone needs me as a life coach.
Alive, yeah. Did I see somewhere? I see somewhere that someone had written empathy can be a difficult situation?
Yeah, it's Paul Claridge, who's had the absolutely ghastly life, and he's just fantastic. He's a fantastic human being, Paul Claridge, and I'm very fond of the guy. And any shit that life could throw at you, they've thrown it at Paul. And he says sometimes empathy can be a burden. Yeah, I think that's possibly so. You know, you're empathetic to everybody. It's like, ooh.
But you have to be right, Paul. Listen to me. You have to be very careful on who you choose to be your friends and the people that support you. You cannot give empathy to everybody because not everybody gives it back. But if you can find just a couple of people that you can have empathy with and they give it back, that's a result. That's the stuff that makes you feel good. You know, if people are giving you empathy but don't really care, to be honest, a toss about you, sorry, but it may not, then just walk away. We have no time in life now for
energy
friends that don't
on the show.
care.
No, on the show, Janet, we call them energy vampires or mood hoovers, and that's what they are. You know, you're giving out, you're getting sod all back, and you think, I'm exhausted from this crap, and the reason is you're getting nothing back. You know, I have some very, very close friends, And when we get together, did last night. So a friend of ours was in from Los Angeles. He was performing, went to support him. The great Dickie Shelton, Richard Shelton, was at Crazy Cox. It was a wonderful show. We've all known him for years. So we go to show support. But, we get so much empathy from the three of us together. They're just marvelous people. And life enhancing. That's what you need. You need life enhancing people. You don't need people.
And also, once you've got that empathy with a person, you don't have to keep churning up stuff that you don't want to. They will know when you need empathy. That's the whole truth of it. And if you've got room for everything else, love, friendship, being connected to these fantastic people, if you're lucky to have them in your life, as Russ often has. He does. He has some lovely people in his life. But if you can find those people, just learn right now what you can support and who you can't support. And those that keep wanting to talk about you and your grief and your loss and blah, 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 walk away. Just walk away. Because you will find
you don't want
someone.
That.
No. And you will find people. You will know what these people are like, and you will welcome them into your life. And yeah, you will. Don't worry. You will.
Now, here's a good offer. I always like to have, upbeat moments. This is from Graham Pack. And Graham says, oh, hang on, I got the wrong one. Right, hang on. Oh, God, this machine. Graham Pack, is Janet still up for it? Because he's got a spare 10 weeks. Come on, that is not a bad offer. All right. I think you're onto a winner here, Graham.
Sadly, I'll take you up on that. Oh, now he's scared. Now he's scared.
No,
I'll tell you that
scared.
much.
I don't think scared encompasses how he's feeling, quite frankly. And I know you, and I'm scared. Paul Claridge.
I wasn't even with him. Oh, hang on. Yeah, go on.
Well, this is Paul. Trust me, Janet, I've made some bad choices when it comes to so-called friends. Suffice to say, I've cut them out of my life. Good. Now I share my life with a small circle of very good, close friends. If you got enough friends that you can count on one hand, you're doing great.
Yeah. Excellent.
Thank you,
Well
Dave. I thought we had an understanding. Russ, are you writing? I want it that way for Backstreet Boys. The man tour is definitely. It's just gone.
Is he talking about?
Hang on,
Brad Pitt your haircut?
Yeah, he's going on.
Yeah,
asleep. Rude man.
But Brad Pitt, look, they say that every time you get remarried, there's less chance of it succeeding. So how many times has Brad Pitt been married now? Yeah.
I
So
no
they
idea.
say that, yeah. Like your second marriage and then your third marriage. By the fourth marriage, you have no chance in succeeding. Don't quote me, please.
You're saying that, but I'm not going to mention any names because that would, my view, break a confidentiality. But my lovely client, who I acted as celebrant at the funeral just over a week ago, this particular client is on their fourth marriage and exceptionally happy. Been together 20 years, exceptionally happy. They adore each other. It was wonderful. It was wonderful to see. The husband and wife adore each other. So I think there's an exception to every rule.
And I think
hang on. Now, here we go. Yeah. You are being swamped with offers.
What?
You're femme fatale. You're being swamped with offers. Hang on. Here we go.
Even with this tooth?
Yeah, well, never mind about the tooth. Paul Claridge says, Janet, if you're considering a toy boy, I'm single. Skint, but he's single. Well,
Paul, you need to write your CV a bit brighter and more.
A bit better than that, mate, because you're going to be on hiding to nothing there, boy. Francine Warner, wife of film star Michael Warner. Our friend is on his fourth marriage, 16 years.
That's lovely.
Wow, that's all right. There you go.
I think it's lovely. All what I say about it, I think it can be nothing but joyful that you meet someone just in time, just to share a few years, 10 years, 20 years. And I expect the people involved are so happy and grateful not grateful in that sort of way, but just so happy to have met that person they can share the rest of their life with. Everybody, despite what anybody says, I think Karen was right, everybody should be in a relationship. And yes, you were right also, Russ, about, being alone but not lonely when you're in the restaurant. But when you get home, it's different. But when you get home and you've had a terrible day or you want to share the day, that's tough, to be honest. And I hope many people feel the same as I do, that you want to go home and share all the blah blah about the day, and that's
God,
what a good relationship gives you.
I don't want to relive
You don't.
it. I don't. No, I don't. Because there's nothing more exhausting. We've got to finish the show, but there's nothing more exhausting when you're really knackered and you've had a really hard day and you come in. Well, tell us all about the day. It's like, no, just don't even talk to me. Janet Gershlick, you freaking legend. We're going to get you back because you're fabulous, and everybody is loving you, and I'm loving it. Janet, it's been far too long. Bless you for coming on.
Thank you.
You're so coming back. Right, everybody, I'll be back. What's today? Wednesday? I'll be back Friday with the fabulous Chantal Rickards, who is back from India, so she'll have a million stories, and Phil Dave, who will have absolutely no stories at all, but will look immaculate. Until then, ta-ra.
Ta-ra.